Have you ever wondered what it's like to retire in Medellín, Colombia? Joining us today is Tomek Gurzinski, a 54-year-old Polish-born adventurer and longtime airline professional. Tomek moved to the United States in 2002 and spent his first 8 years in Los Angeles, California, before settling in Orlando, Florida in 2010. He's been soaring high in the airline industry for 31 years, including 20 years with a major US airline, celebrating his 20th anniversary on April 20th, 2025. Congratulations. After several exploratory visits and careful planning, Tomek moved to Medellin, Colombia in November of 2024. He now lives there with his partner, a Medellin native, whom he met shortly after arriving. From the skies of the US to the mountains of Colombia, Tomek's journey in one of the most thoughtful transitions, love, and finding community in a new country. Welcome, Tomek. Welcome to the podcast. Thank you so much for coming. It's a pleasure to have you.
Thank you so much, Mark, for having me, and thank you for this amazing introduction.
Thank you. So let's get into Colombia. Um, Tell us a little bit more about yourself and what brought you to Colombia out of all places in the world.
Since the very early age, I was exploring different parts of the world. I've been traveling since I was 19 years old. Shortly after the walls came down in Europe, and my country, Poland, became a free, open country, and we could get the passport. It was my dream, and I successfully did this since that moment up until today. Getting involved, meanwhile, professionally in the airline industry, which allowed me to even explore more places. And I guess my mom passed me in my genes spontaneity of life and approach very openly to different cultures. Even we had a very specific and strong culture in my country. I've always been very open to exploring, moving around, getting to know people instead of staying in a hotel, staying with families or staying in homes of people who live where I went to. So that was always passion of my life, and it's still till today. It never died.
Wow. So, okay, and first the US and now Colombia.
Correct.
So that's a pretty big move in itself. So,
Absolutely, it is. It is. It is because it is different culture. U.S. is a wonderful country, a country of many cultures. You can meet anybody from all over the world. It's a country of immigrants since the very early ages, but it offers completely different climate. Colombia, I find Colombia much closer to the culture of my country, where family is the strongest point and core of life, where food, music, and social life is extremely vibrant and very, very, very open towards people who are coming to visit. And that is something which not many countries offer in the world.
I find that a little bit more often now when people speak about their country, especially in Europe as well or Mexico, it's very, very family oriented. And they all also think of family and friends before work too. Kind of like that work-life balance that the US always maybe pretends to have. I don't think there's work-life balance. I think people are worked very hard in the US, and maybe they should take after other countries.
You know, I do agree with you, but I don't think this is only a trend in the United States. I think it's part of the system we were born into. Because when you think about it, there's nothing natural in what we do every day. And majority of times what we do, we work, right? So we have to work to earn our living, to buy those luxuries, things we want to have in life or even travel around. We have to be part of that system. And when you think about it, you have a moment to kind of wonder around why it is like that. It is not natural. Nothing comes of that system from nature. It is purely created by human beings. And it exists in United States and Canada and Colombia and Poland and in all other countries. We do exactly the same thing. Wake up, go to work, earn our money so we can pay for food, travel, our housing, transportation, anything. Is it possible to escape it? To the certain point, yes, but we have to be aware of it every single day. We cannot let our existence depend on it, and a lot of people do, unfortunately. In the United States, I found it extreme in the past years, where basically you work all the time and you enjoy the life only a very small portion of the hours of the day. That shouldn't be like
Yeah,
this. Life not it is what the system tells us it is.
right.
We should live to the fullest. We should work to live to the fullest, not live to work.
Right. And that's what I had to make a decision later in life. I worked so hard on Wall Street all my years, and then it came to a point where it was, either burnout or, you know, do I stay doing what I'm doing in stressful situations until I retire, or maybe move somewhere where the gays retire that I could live and afford without having that stressful situation. But anyway, let's get back to what we were talking about. Let's talk about a little bit about the climate and geography of Medellin. Can you describe the climate and geography for our listeners?
I've always been a person of the ocean. I love the ocean. I'm a scuba diver at heart. This is my biggest passion of my life since 2012. And I never imagined that I could live in the mountains. And this is where I am right now. Medellin is very uniquely situated between the mountains. It's kind of in a valley. And we are surrounded by beautiful hills and mountains, going even up to 2,400 meters above the sea level, which is about what, 8,200 feet, which
It's a
is
lot.
pretty high. The climate is because we're very close to the equator, so the climate is the rainforest climate. That's what for, formal name of the climate is over here in this region. However, it is not as hot simply because of the elevation. So it's very fresh. Coming from Florida, where every single day I was struggling sometimes to breathe, especially during the summertime, being over here in this climate is just a great break. It's very very nice, very warm during the day. Nights could be a little bit chilly. Depends on the day, of course, and there's a lot of rain. The rain season usually is between the wettest months usually are between the mid March to June, and then it starts from September to December as well. And then the dry season over here is mid December to approximately mid March. However, this year it's a little bit different because we feel effects of El Nino and El Nina, and that's kind of like a turnaround year when we had a lot of rain recently, especially in the past 2 or 3 months. There's been tons of rain almost every day. So this year is a little bit different, but hopefully we'll pass it through and we come back to the normal routine of having those dry and wet seasons. Vegetation is absolutely stunning. It's a very green city. As you know, Medellin is called the city of eternal spring
That's
because of
amazing.
its climate. So we don't get the snow. We don't have minus temperatures over here, and everything is just blooming and glowing thanks to amount of water we have and just amazing climate.
So
Average
the average.
temperatures, I would say probably around 74 to 75 degrees Fahrenheit. Very comfortable
Beautiful,
temperature. 24 degrees Celsius. Yeah.
beautiful. And that's winter and summer.
That's a winter and summer. It's
So
basically
it's the
steady
city of
temperature throughout the
eternal
entire
spring.
year. That is correct. Yes.
What more can you want
Mm.
from climate? It's beautiful.
I can
Eh,
exchange the view of the ocean for this type of climate, to be honest.
I hear you. I hear you, and I definitely get that. How about climate change? Do you think climate change has affected Medellin? I know that you haven't been there for that long, maybe not to
I do have
as you
friends who have
visited.
been here for longer. One of them actually is from Colombia, from a different city, Cucuta, but they've been living here for several years. Definitely the summers didn't used to be that hot, probably about 10, 15 years ago. You can feel a little bit more heat. What I love is the approach of the government of the city. A few years ago, they started something which is called a green corridor project, which aimed to plant thousands and thousands of trees and vegetation in the city along its highways, freeways, and they've achieved about 2 degrees Celsius reduction in temperature inside of the valley, inside of the city, which I think is absolutely amazing. Besides the whole entire visual concept, which is very impressive, it also allowed people to spend more time outside, and you can see part of the Colombian culture is to gather and socialize, not only in the restaurants but also in parks. If you go to, for instance, Parque Poblado or Parque de Sabaneta, which is right here next to my house, every single day, basically dawn to dusk, you see people sitting around talking, playing card games, chess,
Love that.
and I absolutely love that. And this is in the coverage of those beautiful trees, which are everywhere. So yes, that's something which you can feel. However, they're doing a lot of projects here. They're trying to achieve a completely carbon-free life over here up until 2050. That's also a very official project which started in 2020. That's a climate action plan they implemented over here. Um, they also have sustainable transportation system, 2 metro lines, one of them which runs from south to north and the other one from west to east, connected with bus lines and cable cars. You can see more and more electric buses on in the city as well. Uh, so it's very it's pro climate, definitely what they do over here, and I like it a
It's,
lot.
would you say it's a cafe culture? Like, are there cafes and people drinking coffee outdoors? And coffee, I love coffee and Colombian coffee.
Absolutely. I mean, that's what I wanted to say. Come on, Mark. This is a coffee country. Being in Colombia, you can truly experience what coffee is all about. Not only just by visiting, but if you live over here, every single day you go to a different place, and every single day you can have a different type of coffee. I drink coffee with no sugar because I
Me
just
too.
simply like the taste of it, and I,
Me
I
too.
feel like you
Black.
feel the
I'm
essence
black
of
too.
what you're drinking. Yes. So when you drink a black coffee, you see that you can taste the difference between different types of coffee over here. Yes, everywhere
Yeah.
on every corner of the street. One of the very famous drinks over here is coffee with cheese, café con
Cheese.
queso. Hmm.
Okay.
They do drink it more even than coffee with cheese. There's chocolate with cheese.
Now wait a minute. Explain. The cheese is on the outside of it. You have it with it, or is it in the coffee?
Yeah, it's in the coffee. It's in the coffee. And I mean, I was told at that time. I've tried that once. I like more chocolate with cheese, which is completely different flavor. It's got that typical sweetness. It's kind of like a ritual in the afternoon. Sometimes they take it as an afternoon drink over here, so I like that much more. But they do all the variations of either coffee or chocolate, and they add cheese into it. It's absolutely delicious, delicious.
I'm a black coffee guy, but like if I go to Europe, if I'm in Spain, I want a café con leche.
Hmm.
So it's just the espresso coffee with the milk,
Correct.
steamed milk.
Yes, over here. The greatest experience I had with the coffee was when we went to Pereira. Pereira is a town approximately 4.5 hour drive from here, towards the south, and that's considered a coffee country. And over there, you can actually go for many tours here in Medellin as well. But over there, especially for many tours, and you can experience how they make coffee and what are the differences and how they prepare it, how um, everything is done, the proper way. So, yes, and it's cheap. It's definitely cheap. So,
Yeah, I'm sure. How about let's get into the cost of living?
mhm.
I know compared to the US, it's probably a lot less expensive. Tell us a little bit, how would you overall describe the cost of living in Medellin?
If you are uh, someone who is planning to either retire and you have an income from a different country and you live here, it's absolutely much more affordable. And starting from the simplest things as shopping and food, ending up on the cost of housing, is definitely the place where you will spend your buck and you will feel like you have bought something. And average price, let's say right now I'm in the stage of renting, so I'm not, I've been here for several months since November last year, and I decided I, with still my income being created in the United States, I can come and enjoy life and rent a place for. There are six different levels of luxury over here recognized, which is called estrato in Medellin and in Colombia as well. And every city has those levels. The level one, of course, is the most affordable, maybe not that luxurious. Those are smaller apartments in different parts of town when there's not as much money involved in purchasing or renting the property. And six being the most luxurious. Definitely, as someone who earns the money over there, or someone who is, let's say, from United States and gets his retirement, he can easily afford level number six over here because currently, I mean, I'm going to share it. I'm not going to lie. I'm paying approximately $950 for beautiful two-bedroom apartments in Sabaneta with the view, which people would die for. And I
It's
have a
crazy.
balcony, and I love spending my time on that balcony. Everything is finished to the highest standards, and I have a 24-hour security downstairs with a porter, swimming pool, dry and wet sauna, some places have jacuzzis and gyms as well, and this is the level six, and we're talking about $950. Are you kidding me?
That's
For that
insane.
price, you wouldn't be able to rent a studio in anywhere basically in the United States nowadays.
That's
So
insane.
it's crazy, but I'm moving. I'm finishing my contract at the end of this month, and I'm moving in the beginning of May to another part of town, which is called Envigado, also a really beautiful place. Currently, I live in Sabaneta, and Envigado is right next to Sabaneta, and I'm going to be in the brand new apartment which was just built this month
Wow.
as a first renter over there. And my rent is going to go up to about $1,200 a month for even bigger apartment with the better views. So, so
Still
you
can't beat
can't
it.
complain. Yes, yes, and of
Yeah.
course, thinking about the future, I don't want to rent all the time. Although if I keep the same income or even retirement later, you can easily afford it. But the prices are going up. Uh, we can feel it over here. People can feel it every year because of the influx of all the people from other countries who just come over here and want to live here, and they're willing to pay a little bit higher price. It's one of the most common complaints of Colombians because their life is becoming less and less affordable for them, and their
Yeah.
income is completely different than ours. Average income probably over here is about 2 to 2.5 million pesos, which is approximately 500 to 750 maybe dollars a month. You know, so they can't afford that much as we can. But definitely, I'm thinking about buying, and if you want to buy an apartment over here, probably you should um, think about between 80,000 US dollars up to 180,000 some of the apartments go for, and we're talking about very high standards. I mean,
Wow.
apartments which normally in US would be for 380, 450 to $500,000 in some places,
Wow.
so definitely more affordable.
Yeah, that sounds great. Hey, Yeah,
And also,
that's the advantage.
what is very important that besides that, the media which you pay. So, for instance, if you rent an apartment, a lot of places offer you, um, a lot of places you pay water, waste, electricity, and internet separately. My place, for instance, everything is included. So I don't pay any additional fees, neither for my internet nor for anything else, up to a certain amount of money. But just to give you a glimpse of what the cost would be, as far as all that small little things, gas is probably the least expensive, $2 to $4 per month. And with the usage over here, we don't have boilers. Our water, which we use, the hot water, is heated by the gas. So that's a huge saving. What you could also consider, and I have to look at my notes because since I have everything included, I was asking people how much they pay, and it just shocked me. A cell phone, for instance, if you have your normal cell phone line, that's what I'm planning to do in the next few probably weeks.
Hmm.
$15 to $20 a month, and this is the plan, which includes you know tons of data, very high speed internet, um, and depending on where you live, also on those levels which I told you about before, estrato, those prices also go either up or down. um, Internet probably is around $18 to $25 a month for high speed. Then water and waste could end up to maximum, even if you have 3 or 4 people in your family living in the same place, $20. If you're living by yourself or with your partner, I would say probably around $10 to $12 a month. So if you think about it, your additional costs over here for all the necessary stuff you need to have in your apartment, including your cell phone, could end up to be probably between $50 to $80 a month.
That's insane too. Now, let me ask about water. Can you drink the water? Well, you're drinking water right
Absolutely.
now.
This is the water straight from the tub. So we get this water. Of course, it is treated, but it's not as eh, this is purely drinkable water, and this is what we get over here in Medellin. To my knowledge, in Bogota also you can drink water straight from the tap. I have been there a few times before on the layovers only, but it's a great taste, and we fill out the glasses, we fill out our containers in the fridge, and you can drink it from any point. We've been to many places outside of Medellin, high in the mountains, and they take water straight from the rivers and streams which are out there, which is very fresh water. They just minimally treating it, and then you can drink it basically straight from the glass as well. So it's very safe.
Other than the big cities, though, and the places in the mountains, is it like Mexico where you can't drink the water?
Not to my knowledge. Majority of the
Okay.
places have a
Okay.
drinking water. They don't have any major pollution problems over here as far as the drinking water stuff. That comes from. I've asked my partner. He's from a different. Originally, he was born in Barranca Bermeja, and he's from there. He says absolutely you can drink water straight from the top.
Cool. How about groceries and dining out, transportation? You talked a little bit about utilities,
Definitely.
but
When you come over here, Uh, there are stores obviously everywhere, almost on every corner of the street. There's a lot of small businesses here, which we don't see anymore in the United States because we are majorly taken over by the big corporations like Walmart and
yes.
and other places. So it could be Ralph's in California.
Yeah.
Over here, there's a lot of very small grocery stores where you can get fresh products straight from the farmers. There are also bigger stores, so it depends where you go. The price vary. The most expensive place is the chain of grocery stores, which is called Carulla, and Carulla usually offers absolutely everything and anything, and with a beautiful and high end quality food, and nothing is really processed over here. That's another thing which is great, and I love about Colombia. They don't process food. And in Carulla, probably the most expensive place when you go for shopping for approximately 1 week for one person, I would say it would be around $100. Um, but there is a chain of stores which is called Exito, which is definitely much more affordable. And in that stores, when I go with my partner, we usually do for the same price we do shopping for two people, and that's for a week. When I counted, I spent most 350 dollars a month for the food, and I'm not looking at the prices. Trust me. If I was looking at the prices, I could bring it down to probably about 200, 250. But if you want to save, if you're on a budget, yes, definitely. But you don't have to be on a budget in Colombia.
When I went to, me and my husband and I went to rent in California in the Palm Springs
Mhm.
area for 3 months. And our first shopping experience was, we had to load up the refrigerator. So, of course, we're buying more. But still, this was 1 week and it was about $350 for that 1 week.
Mhm. Let me tell you, right before I came to Colombia, I lived in California for about a year in San Diego. There was just, I rented my house in Florida. I decided to move over there to kind of clear my head and to make the right decision in my life. Um, thank God I was in the luxury of doing this with no problem whatsoever. So I moved over there for about a year. And I will never forget, I went for the first time to the store, and it was Ralph's, and I made a little shopping, and it was literally small little plastic bag of stuff.
Hmm.
And when the price came out on that cash registered, I almost sit down. Being from
Hmm.
Florida, I was
Yeah.
like, "Are you kidding me?" I think that under my nose, I said a few uncensored words at that time. I was like, "What the hell did you do?"
Yeah.
But true. I mean, it's just it depends also where you are in the United States. Then I came back to Florida and I found out that prices went up like crazy as well in grocery stores. So
Yeah.
for comparison, and I can tell you that it's going to make you smile as well. I just went right before this short little trip we just did for the weekend with my partner to the mountains. We went to do some shopping, and I said, "Okay, we need some wine." So I bought 4 bottles of wine. I went to the store, which is called D1, De Uno, over here. Very nice but discounted store, much smaller size. It's a chain. And I bought some groceries and I bought 5 bottles of wine. And guess how much I paid?
I bet you the wine is like real, real cheap too. Is
The
it like
wine was from
5 bucks?
Spain and from Italy. So there was Spanish and Italian wine, which usually I buy for about $20 or $22 in the United
In the
States.
United States?
For
Yeah.
5 bottles of wine and the grocery for about 2 or 3 days, I paid about $35.
That's
So
unbelievable.
the difference is tremendous. And as I am saying, I mean, you can go and you can buy more expensive wine because there are some type of wines over
Yeah.
here as well, which are, let's say, $15 or $17 in translation to US money. But where you live here, you know where to go, and this is all thanks to the time I spent over here and my friends, Juan and John, who I stayed with several times when I was here, and they passed that knowledge to me, and we went to many different stores, and they said, this is where you have to go for your food. So it's really nice to have someone to advise you before you
Right.
move over here how you should start your life, because it's definitely smoother.
Yeah. Reminds me in California too, there was a place called Food for Less.
Hmm.
So they were owned by the same Kroger establishment, but you had to pack your own bags. It was like no frills. But the Food for Less prices were the same as my Phoenix prices.
Hmm.
So, and that was less. So, yeah, there is quite a big difference. So,
The other thing is that, for, let's say, for people like myself or someone who is coming here either for vacation or even to live, dining out is extremely inexpensive as well. I mean, you can go from many different levels of restaurants, but the most I have spent for two people in the most luxurious restaurant with a 5 course dinner with wine with everything was $100 for two people.
wow.
So that's, this is the price which I paid. Sometimes half of that I paid in the fast food restaurants in the United States. Over here, I can have a luxurious dinner for two. Um, and normally, when you go to the restaurant, street food, for instance, absolutely delicious, natural, made by the people who live here, and they are in every park almost. You can find a little stands where people are selling food. There's up for pennies on a dollar. But if you want to treat yourself, you can go to a little bit better restaurant. And for two people, let's say you pay 25 bucks or $17, and you still have a five-course dinner with drinks. So definitely something which is very attractive as far as life over here.
What's the dining culture like? Do they eat late or do they eat early like here? Like I'm ready to eat at 5 p.m.
So they do spend a lot of time together as a family at night. I usually when I was going out, I usually go out during the day, so you can see more people dining out during the day. Um, but Colombians, they have a culture of cooking, so they cook a lot at home. My partner is an excellent cook. I always tell him this because he loves cooking, and he cooks for me, um, and I absolutely love his food. Um, but as far as the eating times, they have a little breakfast. Usually, it could be chocolate with cheese or a little arepa. Arepas are very popular over here. This that replaces the bread as equivalent of bread, and they are made in many different ways. You go to grocery store, you can buy about 6 or 7 different kinds of arepas. They're also uh, private stands and people who are making and cooking that at home, and they are selling that on the streets. And I have over here a little small stand which is kind of like a little store with arepas, which is called chachas. And I always go to chachas because I get my pack of arepas, which is about 10 of them, for approximately $3. And I usually pack of arepas lasts me for about 4 or 5 days, with no problem whatsoever. So it's very inexpensive. But yeah, as far as the times, they usually go for breakfast and they have a lunch in the afternoon. Remember that those people who live here, they do work. And majority of them, they work 7 days a week. Some of them, they don't even have a day off. If they have a day off, it's usually one. Very uncommon thing is to have a 2 days off during the week.
Wow.
So they, as I was saying before, we're part of the system, and Colombia is not free of that neither. They are very hard workers, but in the same time, they don't forget about what life is all about. This
Family.
is what I love about Colombian culture here.
Do they do
They
siesta?
they don't do siesta over here. No, they don't do
Okay.
siesta. This is Spain. Colombia is even was colonized, but at some point by Spanish Empire. It has a lot of influences, but no, that's something which they don't have over here. They work really hard, definitely.
Got it.
Mhm.
All right.
You
Let's
were asking me about transportation, right? Because this is a very important part. I just recalled. Um, 80 cents. That's what you pay for the pass. And with that pass, you can enter the metro station over here, go to the other side of town, take a bus, go to maybe 3 or 4 stops, and take a metro cable car. They have a system of metro cables here all around the city, since a lot of communities are built on the side of the hills. So, in order for people to get to their homes, if the cable cars were non-existent, they would have to work sometimes for 45 minutes or an hour on the 35 degrees hill, which is a pretty good workout. But they build this system absolutely perfectly. You can get to any part of those communities within minutes, and
wow.
it costs you 80 cents literally.
That's
So you can live here with no car whatsoever and be happy. Um, Cost of taxi is also extremely low. Um, I use the app over here, which is very popular. It's called InDrive. It's kind of like equivalent of Uber. You can take a regular taxi, but a lot of people take InDrive. You simply order the car, you agree to the price, so you propose the price, they accept it, they come to pick you up. Average cost for 20, 30 minute ride is about $4 or $5. Some of the rides closer to here, let's say from Exito, because Exito, which I have the grocery store, which I just mentioned to you, is located very low on the lower level. So I have going to my apartment is really uphill, especially the last part. So if I have a lot of groceries, I usually take a taxi from there, and it's approximately $2. So it's extremely low, yes, as
Yeah,
far as the
it's
cost.
inexpensive for sure. Do you know if they have, I know you're not there yet, but do they
Mhm.
have anything for seniors? Like, is it free for seniors?
To be honest with you, that subject I did not explore yet. They do probably, they have a lot of programs over here for seniors, and especially for people with the lower income. Uh, I forgot the name of the system, but they do certain type of qualification. They visit your household. You order some sort of inspection. They come to see how you live, what kind of income you have. They analyze everything, and they assign you a certain level as well. The same as level of living over here, as far as the quality and luxury of apartments. All the citizens who are here are assigned a certain level of, they say, either they live a normal life, they're close to, let's say, low income people, there are very low income people, and those who have the lowest income, they qualify for the uh, absolutely completely free healthcare. And they do also have they do have some other benefits from the government and help which they receive, including childcare support and all this kind of stuff. So they do have those programs, but I'm not there yet. I don't have many
Yeah,
information
I
about
know
it.
you're not. Okay, let's go on to the LGBTQ
Hmm.
community. What's the LGBTQ community like in Medellín? There are specific neighborhoods, bars, restaurants.
Absolutely. The uh, marriage was legalized over here in 2016. That year was extremely significant for Colombia because it was the same year as they signed a piece of accord ending the armed conflicts over here in Colombia, which obviously people who study the history of this country or even know something about this country, they know very well. And it was a year of complete transformation of this country. I think that even we still, when we hear Colombia, we may think many different things. We have stereotypes. We're going to probably talk about it a little bit later, but it's completely different right now. That also marked the point when the whole entire country became more open. There's a lot more acceptance towards LGBTQ plus community, and I think Medellin, as far as my knowledge and what I've heard from other people, is considered as the most great gay friendly um, uh, city in Colombia. I mean, there are communities, gay communities everywhere, in Bogota as well. But as far as life over here for and gay community, Medellin is probably the most welcoming and open. You can see, I've seen many times people holding hands and kissing on the street. No one really cares about it. The rest of the country is catching up, although it's a little bit behind. So I would not recommend for anyone to travel outside and um, uh, explore the same type of behavior on the streets because they might get a few words here and there from someone. But definitely, country is progressing in a very fast pace. Considering 2016, just 9 years later, to have the whole entire community being so accepted, it's a great accomplishment, I would say. There are two different areas over here in Medellin which are considered the gay areas. This is El Poblado, which is the center of the town, and Laureles, which is very close by. Two of those parts also are the most popular among the tourists. There's a lot of bars, uh, gay bars, gay nightclubs, cafes, also hotels, gay friendly hotels where you can stay, among other businesses as well. And you can see community being very vibrant over there. Early in July, I think first week of July, the most famous gay pride is happening in Medellin. I haven't experienced that yet, but I'm planning to attend this year. and to see how it goes.
how
I've
they
seen prides
celebrate.
in San Francisco. I've seen pride in LA, in Long Beach, and in New York. So it will be very interesting for me to also experience this one, and I'm looking forward to it. From what I've heard, is a great celebration. This is just a weekend, but people from all over Colombia and also all over the world come to experience it over here. So I'm definitely looking forward to do that. From the bars, I'm not really a night guy. I don't go out that much to the bars, but I've been to a few, and I had a very pleasant experience. The only thing which I would recommend is just to be a little bit careful, when you go out, especially at night, even in those areas. But other than that, places are absolutely great. Bar Chiquita is one which I went to. It's an absolutely great place. Or Club Oraculo over here, or Purple Club Medellín, I think that's what it's called. That's a big disco place, a nightclub. And I went there twice, once on my layover, and once when I was already living here. So yes.
Is it easy to find LGBTQ expats around?
So I'll tell you that way. When I came to United States, for the purpose, I didn't come to Chicago or New York when there's the biggest Polish community. Usually people look for it when they move to different country, look for people like themselves who just started their life, which is kind of
You
it's
feel
normal to do
comfortable?
it that way. Very comfortable for people. I went straight to LA. There's not a big Polish community out there because I just wanted to taste the culture. I wanted to see what it means to live an American life. And I did exactly the same thing over here. When I came over here, I didn't look for, although I know that the expat community exists, and I'm part of the group on Facebook and social media. I try to get my personal own experience, but there's a huge group. They have meetings also every once in a while, and they enjoy their life. I know that there's wonderful people who meet together, and they spend time together. They get to know each other. They have a kind of an inside support group. I had my friend support, and that was the most important for me over here. They helped me a lot, but you can definitely rely on the expat group, and you just need to get yourself involved a little bit, probably right before you come. Very helpful Facebook group for expats in Medellin is functioning on a daily basis. People post great questions out there, and they help one another. Even people who are just planning to come here and they don't know where to start. So that's a great source, absolutely. Uh, LGBTQ is not that visible on that page, I guess. I maybe have seen one or two posts itself, but it's mainly related to changing their life and assimilating to living conditions over here in Colombia rather than the community itself.
Important question. Did
Mhm.
you know Spanish when you moved?
That is something which is extremely important. I think where you move, it doesn't matter where you move. I did know
Right.
Spanish, yes. I do speak fluently Spanish. And I cannot tell you enough how much it helps, not only with establishing your life, but also with getting to know people who live here. They approach you in a different way if you speak their language. My great advice to anyone who is planning to move to a different country, I am not saying learn the language before you come here, but at least make a
It's a
huge
good
effort to
idea.
learn the language when you come here. Two of my friends, which I just mentioned, Juan and John. John is American. Juan is from Colombia. They lived in the United States for many years together, and John didn't know Spanish that much, and they moved here about I would say 2.5 or 3 years ago, and absolutely amazing progress. John is speaking fluently Spanish right now. He's part of the conversation. It's great to see because you can't taste the culture. You can't know this place the way I know it if you don't speak the language. So
You miss
yes,
out on a lot.
you want to move to a different country, make sure that you at least make an effort to learn the language. It's a very important part of it.
Yeah. And especially even before I moved, I would like to know at least some restaurant Spanish. So I can get by in a restaurant.
It starts from there, and it's a great starting point. Absolutely. Even few words in Spanish over here in Colombia will make some other people, they know that you're not from here, but they
Hmm.
appreciate that you're at
Right.
least making an
Making
effort
the effort.
to speak in their own language. Um, and and there's always someone, there's always, I say that, tourist community, um, could have a good positive and negative effect on the society. There's a lot of people who don't really know how to behave, and they kind of, they're kind of ignorant. They come here and say, I speak English, everybody speaks English, you should speak English as well. No,
Yeah.
it doesn't work that way. I'm sorry, but that's the way it is. When I came to United States, I learned the language before I came to United States, and I spoke English fluently. I do right now. Before I came to here, I spoke Spanish. You just have to be responsible. You have to move when you're prepared for it, and that's
How many
part of the
languages
preparation.
do
Very
you?
important point.
How many languages are you fluent in?
I speak my native Polish. I speak Spanish. I speak English, and I speak Russian. I think it's enough for right.
Got it. Yeah, that's enough, considering I only know one. Yes, excellent.
Mark, would you mind if I get another glass of water?
Go right ahead.
Thank you. I didn't know I would need that much, but I
There you
guess I
go.
do. Thank you.
See, I dry you out. All right. Um, what's your experience? Have you made friends with locals, or are locals a little bit more standoffish?
No, Colombians are extremely open, especially when you try to speak their language or you speak their language. Open book, absolutely. The very first few people I found over here were drivers, and drivers are also extremely friendly.
Hmm.
Um, when I arrived at the airport in here in Medellin, there are different options. You can take a regular taxi, you can order in drive, or like myself, I have one driver which I know right now who always picks me up and drops me off at the airport. That's probably the best way because you know one another. You can always count on that person. Um, but taxi from the airport to the city is approximately, I would say, between 28 to $32. It's about an hour and 20-minute drive to where I am, so it's actually pretty long. But those are the first people who you meet, and you would be amazed how knowledgeable their people are about their culture, how willing they are to talk about Colombia, about they ask you many questions as well because they want to find out where you're from.
Right.
Are you from United States? You're from different country, and then the conversation starts, and then you find out their historical knowledge is just stunning. They know everything, not only about their own country but other countries as well, and other cultures. Even they've never traveled before. Not a lot of them because they can't afford it. A lot of people can't afford travel like we do, and it's just it amazes me the level of knowledge they have. Some of the very first lessons about history of Colombia I got from taxi drivers. You'll be
I'm sure.
surprised.
My father was a cab driver when he was alive. He was a taxi driver. So
Gotcha.
there you go. Let's get a little bit back into the transportation questions.
Mhm.
Um, is everything walkable? So in town, can you walk to the grocery market, doctor, hospital, bank, shoemaker?
Absolutely, absolutely, yes. And every the structure of the city is I would say very unique because living in the United States, I remember there's certain parts of the city you live and you have to drive to the grocery store because it's two and a half or
Yes.
3 miles away. Now, everything, the city is very condensed. And remember, it's surrounded by the mountains, so there's only a certain amount of space they have, and it's a very big city. So you can find either small grocery stores everywhere, or you can find bigger ones, at least one per or two per community. and everything is walkable. I usually walk down, and I come back with a taxi if I have to do a lot of shopping. I also walk to my gym over here, which is very close. Um, and Parque Poblado, I'm sorry, Parque Sabaneta, which is right down there. There's tons of restaurants out there, also walkable distance. So I don't have to go downtown in order to experience great dining because I have it right next to me. And every part, whether this is Itaqui or Sabaneta or Poblado or Laureles or Bello, all those places, they do have everything reachable within walking distance.
That's great.
And it's a pleasure to walk outside because it's not that hot. The climate is amazing. One
That's
thing,
why you're so fit.
always, I'm trying. Always take your umbrella with you. Always, because over here you never know when the rain starts, and when it rains, it
Of
pours.
course.
It's a wall of rain. So
Wow.
yes, always take your umbrella with you.
Good to know. Good to know. Okay, that's great. Everything is walkable. If it's not walkable and you want to go to the other end of town, you have the
Oh my
trains,
God.
which are really inexpensive.
I wanted to tell you something which I found here extremely fascinating. There is a culture of the shopping centers. It's about 36 of them in the entire city. And I'm talking shopping centers like malls. So for
Wow,
the size of the city, which is about what, 2.5, 3 million people, 36 shopping centers and
that's a
basically
lot.
limited space, it's a lot. But let me tell you, the structure of the mall is nothing comparable to what we have in the United States. You have a one floor, which is medical floor. You can go to that floor, you can take care of all your medical stuff, including plastic surgery if you want to. People love hanging out in the mall. You can find everything in the malls, from the grocery stores to the high-end, uh, uh, you know, brands and stores and clothing stores which you have out there.
Wow.
Not only the fast food. Fast food is only a small portion of the mall. You can go to a different part of the mall when you have a very high-end restaurants. A lot of people go to the malls and shopping centers to spend an afternoon and have either a business dinner or social dinner with their friends if they want to eat out a little bit higher on the higher standard, which I don't find at all in the United States. The United States we usually have a Subway and a few other small restaurants, and that's about
Right.
it. Over here, there's a whole entire food section. It's like a small little city when you walk in between the aisles, and you have this beautiful restaurants here with a view for the mountain, open view for the mountain with no windows. So you're sitting basically inside, but you can see everything outside. And
So it's an indoor mall or it's an
it's
outdoor mall?
it's an indoor
It's
mall.
indoor.
It's indoor, but
Wow.
because there are many. It depends on the size of the mall. But for instance, the Envigado Mall, which is right over here, um, there are two sides which are connected by the walkways, and walkways are wide enough to also include restaurants in the middle of it. So you walk outside with no walls on the sides, and you can sit down in a coffee shop and have a coffee overlooking the beautiful hill on the other side, and then you can walk inside of this beautiful area where you have those great restaurants, and you can sit with your friend or your partner or someone else and just eat absolutely amazing food
Wow.
for not that much, and look at the beautiful view outside. So it's a very different thing. Local people, they love those malls are constantly full. They are full of people from morning till night.
It
And
sounds like they're in the 70s of the United States
Mhm.
because that's when the malls started being built and they were these huge places. And now, today in the United States, the malls are pretty much no more.
Absolutely. I was in shock when I came back from California to Florida. A Florida mall in Orlando I used to go to. It was a vibrant place, and it was almost half empty when I went over there.
Hmm. Yeah.
Stores are closing down. People don't go out. People don't socialize anymore, and that's really sad. And I came over here, and it's just, let me tell you, when I'm coming back from work, because I'm still not retired, but and I feel like I am retired because I work for 2 weeks and I'm coming back over here for 2 weeks. I
Two
can do
weeks.
whatever I want, and I feel like this place. it just pulls you in with all the richness of the people, the culture, the food, the social life, uh, whether you're a social person or not. You can, let's say, a few days you can stay at home by yourself and just look outside of your balcony and breathe this fresh air and look at this beautiful view. But then another day it changes and you want to go and see the people. Be my guest. You can go anywhere. You can go to the shopping center and you have this amazing experience over here. I absolutely love it. That's so different.
Let me guess. They don't yet have Amazon.
They do.
They do?
They do. They have the equivalent of Amazon in their own country over here. And they do have Amazon because Amazon actually, in a matter of fact, sells the products which can be shipped to Colombia. So you just need to change the country in your settings.
Hmm.
So
I would think they wouldn't have Amazon because they go to the malls.
well, yes. I mean, this type of technology, I think it's still in the early stages, like we used to have about 8, 9 years ago.
Yeah.
Um, I don't think, to be honest with you, that they will ever give up doing this. It's not what who Colombians are. Colombians love to see others. Colombians love to socialize, meet together, and you can see it everywhere. You can feel it everywhere. So I think it's going to be a little bit different. United States and American nation is the nation of convenience.
Yeah.
So probably that's why we went that way. But Colombians are a little bit different. They still have the family value,
Values.
social values, friendship values.
Got it. All right. How about healthcare? So, um, how is healthcare access in Medellin? Do you have long waits? Have you gone to a doctor? Do you have long waits? What are the waits? And can you also explain the different types of healthcare systems that
Mhm.
Medellin might have or
So,
Colombia?
so here's the thing. Extremely affordable for us. It's a social healthcare system, which Colombian citizens, residents are part of, and majority of people are under that healthcare system. There's a private sector as well, which a lot of people use, but mostly those are foreigners like us or expats. Um, I don't know if people, maybe this is something I'm going to reveal, but in World Health Organization has this ranking of the best healthcare systems in the world,
Hmm.
and Colombia is on the 21st place out of more than 100,
Mm,
where United
interesting.
States is almost at the end at this stage. So they have one of the best healthcare systems existing in the world. 41% of best hospitals in Latin America are located over here in Colombia, including one over here in Medellin. It's called Hospital Pablo Tubon Uribe. I think that's the name. It's one of the best hospitals in the city. But the quality of the healthcare also depends where you go. But it I would say I definitely consider really high. For us, whether you are under their system, if you live here permanently, you have residency or your visa holder, you can sign up for the system, and you can have a free healthcare as well. Sometimes you wait a little bit, but you don't need any. Let's say if you need specialized tests, you don't need any recommendation from your family doctor. You can just simply go and order that. Um, a, when you come here first, what I would recommend to get yourself a visa, because visa entitles you to sign up for the what is called EPS insurance. I think it's called Entidad Promotoras de Salud. And once you sign up for the system, then you're eligible for their healthcare, and you can use that healthcare, or you can use the private system. When you are under EPS insurance, the copay is between, I would say, $3 to $10 per visit or per procedure, whatever that is. The rest of it's for free. Hospitals visits as well. There's a very little copay to that, almost nothing. I've experienced only one kind of it was not a big emergency, but last December I came back from my vacation in Indonesia, and being there in one of the hot springs, I contracted some sort of a virus in which was in the water. I was not aware of that. I just had a high fever. Came back on the plane over here, came home, and that was the first time. It was like 1 month after I moved here, so I didn't
Wow.
have anything established. I literally went outside to Parque Sabaneta. I went to one of the pharmacies over there, and she gave me a phone number. She says, "I know this person. This is a doctor who does the visits. You can actually call him, and he can either come to your place, or you can go to him, or you can do online visit." So the online visit costed me $20, which for this standard is really expensive, but of course for us is nothing. And he did a thorough evaluation. It was 11 o'clock in the morning when I called him at because he didn't know what kind of bacteria I contracted. So at 2 p.m., I had knock on my door. There was a person from the hospital with ready set to do the blood tests, which I had at my comfort
Wow.
of my own home, which I paid about $30 for. And 2 hours later, I had a full results sent to me by email. And at 7 p.m., I had another knock on my door with all the medications delivered to me
Holy
for
moly.
approximately $20. So I spent what 50, 60, maybe $65 for the whole entire event in a 1 day, and I was fully taken care of. And this person actually, I have this doctor till today because anytime I need any tests, even my annual tests, he sends people to my house. Uh,
That's
they do whatever they want to they need to do. Literally, a
that's
few hours
unheard of.
later, I have all the results. So it's I'm just going to leave it at that
Tomek.
because
So
conclusion doesn't need to be said.
in the US, growing up, I would say I remember in the 60s,
Hmm.
maybe no, not even probably in the 70s, maybe in the 70s, that doctors made house calls. But after that, nada. Mm-mm,
Hmm.
nothing. It's unheard of now.
Even in my country, in Poland, I can see the huge difference in the quality of service because I still have my mom who is there, and she needs some medical attention sometimes, and it's extremely difficult to get it if you're part of that social system. Our system is not probably the best in Poland, but here in Colombia is extremely accessible. And as I mentioned to you, you go to the mall, you have the whole entire floor dedicated to
For
medical services. You can do, everything from regular tests to even plastic surgery if you want to. So it's extremely well known. The medical tourism is very popular in Colombia. A lot of people come here to um, do all the dental work because it's affordable. The prices of, let's say, Invisalign in the United States can reach $4,000 or $5,000. Over here, therefore, maybe $2,000 to $2,500. Basically half a price. Or spending a few $100s of very complicated work, which would cost you thousands of dollars in the United States. So this country is very popular for that. I have many friends who are coming just to stay here for a few days, do their dental work, and go back to US.
yeah. Do you have any idea for those in the LGBTQ plus community that need some HIV services or medication? Do you know if they provide that as well?
They do provide all the tests, although the medical services are not really directed to. There's still this little bit of that stigma. Remember, everything changed in
It's very
2016,
conservative.
right? I think we need to give Colombia a little bit more time to kind of transfer that into other stages. So right now, I would just say, if you need that type of test, just tell your doctor, hey, I need this test, I need that test. You don't need to reveal anything.
Right.
If your doctor knows you and knows your situation, that's not going to be a problem whatsoever. There's no very specific places. I don't think that I found any clinic over here dedicated to our community, but Other than that, I think it's very easy to get any type of test you want.
And I'm sure they would provide meds if you needed it
Oh yeah, definitely,
in
definitely.
the public
And
sector.
there's not a lot of branded medications we see in United States. I mean, there are few, but most of the medications over here are generic and fully approved. And
Hmm.
as effective as other brands of main medication, and definitely much cheaper. Definitely
Yeah,
much cheaper.
I'm sure. I'm sure, without a
Even
doubt.
without an insurance. Even without an insurance.
I'm sure a lot of
And we're
people just
talking.
pay
We're
it out of
talking.
pocket.
Oh yeah, we're talking thousands of dollars in difference. Let's say to have a permanent condition, a health condition, which you literally spend a fortune or ruin yourself with in the United States, you
Hmm.
can easily manage that condition over here with no problem whatsoever.
Yeah. This is why people go to other countries.
Hmm. Absolutely.
All right. Thank you for that. Let's talk a little bit about. We talked about restaurants, but we didn't talk about really like culture
Hmm.
and the arts. Are there any theater, like live theater? Are there museums that one could go to? Tell us a little bit about that.
So when you think about someone who comes here, let's say for the first time, even if you come for a visit, right? The first thing which comes up to mind when you hear Colombia, people say, "Oh my God, Pablo Escobar," right?
Hmm. Yep.
Hey, what I can suggest: think Fernando Botero, not Pablo Escobar, because Fernando Botero is the world-known uh, artist. Unfortunately, passed away in 23 already, but this he's originally from Medellin, and this is something I had seen for the very first time when I came over here years ago in 2014. I visited Medellin, and the first place I went to was downtown in Botero Park, which is a place where his sculptures are situated, and it's literally in the front of the Botero Museum. Absolutely fascinating art. Very, very. I don't, for those who don't know who Pablo Botero is and his style of painting and doing sculptures, he loved the curves of human body. So a lot of his paintings they feature people in their round um, kind of shape, but it makes the style very unique. And he made a lot of sculptures which he donated to the city of Medellin, as well as his paintings over the years. He was born in Medellin, passed away, I think, in Monaco, as far as I remember, in 23 in September. Uh, so he lived a lot of time, a lot of his last years of his life somewhere else. He studied in Spain, and his just amount of things and the love he had for this city was amazing. And he is featured everywhere. You can even find a restaurant. I don't forgot the name of it, but you can go to that restaurant. They give you a different type of sculpture, and you can actually ask for a Botero sculpture, and you can sit, eat your meal, and they give you different type of um, uh, paint, and you can paint the sculpture, and then take the sculpture home with you. You pay for the
Oh,
sculpture,
cool.
and then a dinner. It's such an amazing experience just to see it. But Pablo, excuse me, the Fernando Botero was a very very popular painter and artist over here, and this is what usually people start with. Other than that, there are restaurants there. I'm sorry, restaurants, theaters, and movie theaters everywhere. I haven't experienced them yet, to be honest with you, but I've heard people going there and they enjoy themselves a lot. There's a lot of festivals. One of the most famous festival in the world is the Festival de los Flores, which is the flower festival. It's happening, I think, in August, as far as I remember. Unfortunately, I missed it last year, but this year I will make sure that I'm going to be here because to the description of the people who have, my friends who are here and other people who have seen it, it's an experience on its own. It's a celebration of the art of flowers. and you see farmers from all over Colombia coming over here to display their beautiful flower art, which they carry on their bags.
So
And,
cool.
and there's a competition, and they choose the winner. And the festival takes place during like 2 or 3 days, I believe. And it's absolutely amazing experience. I've seen the videos and pictures. This year is going to be the first year I'm going to experience that on my own. So La Feria de los Flores, this is what it's called.
Cool.
So it's definitely something to see. Um, Christmas, for instance, there is another very important day which marks the beginning of Christmas. And here in Medellin, we have a two very beautiful events. The first one is more of the celebration of the whole entire Colombia, which is called El Día de las Velitas. This is the Day of the Little Candles. It's more connected to the Catholic religion, but it's also a tradition. On that day, which is marking the beginning of Christmas, everybody puts little small candles outside of their homes on the street, and you can literally ride through the street and you see those beautiful lit
Wow.
streets on both sides and people walking, and it's just very special atmosphere. And that is some sort of tradition which has come from, as I said, Catholic religion, celebrating the Catholic feast. um, so that's something which is definitely, those two events are absolutely amazing, and I
Awesome.
would definitely recommend it. And of course, if you're part of the LGBTQ community, I think that everyone should be part of the Gay Pride over here in July, the first weekend of July. It's something to experience because it's from the different country,
Yes.
and it's definitely nice to see how different they celebrate
Yep.
that day
That,
over here.
that would be very interesting.
Hmm.
All right. Next topic is crime and safety. So
Hmm.
everyone's thinking, oh, Colombia, Medellin, crime. Tell us a little bit about crime. It has a complicated reputation historically. What's your honest experience with safety today?
I would lie if I was not the one of those people who are coming here with certain fears, at least for the first few times. But things have changed a lot in Colombia since 2016, as I mentioned to you before. Safety became kind of one of the priorities for the government, and they managed to achieve a lot of great things. If you think when you come in over here that this is absolutely dangerous place, you're wrong. It's not. You can be on the street. You can feel safe. I feel here much safer, and I'm saying that with a hand on my heart that
You
I
feel
recently
safer
felt
there than
in the
here?
United States. I do. I do. Of course, crime is everywhere. It is also over here. We hear a lot about people coming here from United States or from other countries, and being drugged up with scopolamine. That's, the scopolamine problem, as they call it in Medellin or in Colombia in general. But these are usually people who are careless. They don't know. They just don't think of what they do when they come here. Whenever you travel or wherever you travel, you always should be aware of things. And the city is no different. I would um, say that, if you have a head on your shoulders, you do everything responsibly, you shouldn't be worried about anything. Having said that, however, when you go out, especially at night, especially to the bars, and you have a couple of drinks, just simply be aware. Um, because of the influx of tourists and people with money who are coming to visit this country and this city, yes, there is elevated risk of having someone drug you up and then basically steal a lot of stuff from you, including emptying your bank accounts. Uh, Scopolamine is a very specific drug. It's called among many as a zombie drug because you don't really appear that you're drugged up, but then you allow basically someone to tell you what to do, and you do everything what they tell you, including going to the banking machine and pulling everything out of your bank account.
My
You don't have completely control over what you do. So what I would say, definitely, be have your eyes open. Don't leave your drink on the table and go to the restaurant and come back, because people observe. There's a lot of opportunistic people who live in this country over here who know that we're coming with the money. And we're not talking about money. If you feel like you're working for, let's say, a regular company, you're not making that much, you coming over here, you become a millionaire.
yeah.
You are, and you perceive like one. So if you, let's say, have this type of carnation like me, which is white, and I come across as gringo, even I'm not a gringo, I'm a Polak. Um, the people see that, and just don't be irresponsible. I would definitely not recommend people to come here to look for love only with that purpose. This is not the place to do that. You will get yourself in trouble. If you really want to find love, do it the regular way. Don't use any apps. Do not use Tinder. Tinder is full of people who are just waiting for the opportunity. And this is not the place where you should look for love. Just do the same thing as you would do in your country. Don't be, I'm sorry for that word, stupid, but a lot of people are, unfortunately, and they end up later on in the news, or they come back to United States and they say I was robbed and my accounts were emptied and so on and so forth. So
How'd you
just
find love?
um love found me.
Oh,
I was not looking.
okay.
That does not mean that I didn't date someone here before. Yeah, I tried. Um, but this is what happened when I tried and I had my eyes open. I saw that someone was looking for opportunity rather than love. So I gave up. And the moment I gave up completely and I didn't care, that's when love found me.
There you go. Well,
That's the key.
he's a
That's
very
the key.
lucky person.
But to kind of round up that subject, I lived in Orlando for many years, and I used to go out in Orlando. I used to have fun, and once polls happened in 2016,
Yeah.
I think it changed the whole entire community. I think it changed the whole entire gay community all over the United States, because we didn't feel any more safe
Safe.
going out. And I don't anymore when I am in the United States. Anytime I go out, I always look around, and I always have the thought in the back of my mind that anybody can come up, open the door, and another tragedy can happen. So, uh, to be honest, I feel safer here
I
than I
believe it.
feel in the U.S. And I own the gun in U.S.,
I believe it.
which I'm not fond of. But recently, I had to do that. Unfortunately, I mean, we have certain laws which allow people to carry, and our unfortunately health issues were neglected for years in the United States, and since everybody can access any type of weapons, this is what we have. We deal with. I come here. I All I need to care about is not to be drugged up. That's much easier than not to be shot.
Hmm. Got it. All right. So, are there any particular neighborhoods that are better than others in Medellin?
I would not say. I think Poblado and Laureles, two most popular tourist places. Obviously, when you're going out at night, if you see a small little dark street and your conscious might tell you do not go over there by yourself, just please don't. That's a general rule everywhere. There is nothing more into it. If you look for trouble, you will find trouble.
Find it.
If you stay away from trouble, you will. Trust me.
Hmm.
Things like valuables. What I would definitely say people walk over here around the town and I don't see any huge chains of gold anywhere. I don't see 27 rings on two different hands. That does not happen. So if you're wearing that in United States or any other country and you're coming over here, just please take it out because you're asking for trouble.
Trouble.
You're asking for someone to see, oh my God, this is a big opportunity for me to steal from him.
Hmm.
And don't put the phone in your pocket. I wouldn't do that in Europe. I wouldn't do it here. I wouldn't do it anywhere else. But it's the same thing. If you put something in your pocket in the bag, it just asks for the person to come over and pull it out. iPhone over here, just to give you an example, it's almost absolutely inaffordable for regular people. So majority of the phones people have over here are Androids, which are
Android.
definitely much cheaper. iPhone over here actually in Colombia is more expensive than in the United States if you want to buy it new.
Wow.
So imagine if you earn, let's say, on average $400 to $600 a month, paying $1,500 for a phone,
That's crazy.
it's a 3 month salary.
Yeah.
It's not something you want to go around the city and show everybody that you have.
I
So
have an iPhone.
just be careful, and that's the only thing.
Got it. What would you say to someone who's skeptical about retiring in Colombia or Latin America?
Uh, you know, where the skepticism comes from is from the point that someone is afraid of their safety or the point that somebody is not prepared, because those are two different things. If it comes from the point of safety, I just mentioned that right now. I don't think that you should worry about anything because the risk is as big as anywhere else. I would probably say less over here than anywhere else. Just be mindful, be smart, and don't do stupid things. Don't look for trouble. And you're going to be perfectly fine. You can walk on the streets, people will smile to you, they will talk to you, everything is going to be okay. I don't think that this skepticism should be I mean that type of fear should exist. That comes usually from stereotypes, from what we read in the newspapers or see on the TV news. And that doesn't give us the full picture. Living here gives you a different perspective, and you can see it right away as soon as you come over here for a few weeks. If it comes from the point of not being prepared, uh, true, prepare yourself. That's not like a vacation that you pack two of your bags and you come and say, "Oh, I'm just going to live here."
I'm here.
No, 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 no. You have to think about the way you have to communicate with others. You think about where you need to live. Surely you can come over here and stay in a nice hotel for very little money. That's not a problem. Meanwhile, you do your research, but just prepare yourself. My preparations, even I knew the language already before I came over here, started months before. Actually, about a year before I moved over here, I started to think about it, and I visit my friends. I was invited over here by them, and if they are listening or watching, God, Juan and John, you're my two angels. Thank you so much for everything you have done for me. And I was able to kind of adjust my thoughts and make the plan. Make the plan. Don't be skeptical. It's all about how you do it. It's not, don't be afraid of jumping over because it's not such a big deal. Remember, your happiness is where you feel happy. It's not where your home is, which you just bought for $650,000. It's where you really feel happy, which
Happy.
where you can meet other people who make you happy.
Yeah.
So I go along that. That's why I sold my house in Orlando, and I was like, I'm done. I'm coming to the
Great.
place, to the
That
people
makes you
which
happy.
make me happy. Hmm.
That's great advice. So before we wrap up, for our LGBTQ listeners considering a move to Medellín for retirement, what advice would you give them before making the leap?
That's exactly what I said. Please study Spanish. You will make it so much easier for yourself if you know at least basics. Like you just said, Mark, restaurant Spanish is enough. You're gonna say something wrong. Don't be afraid. They're gonna correct you, but they're gonna appreciate that you speak their language.
Got
And
it.
also, research a little bit. know something about the culture, about the people. It's a very beautiful nation. Colombians are absolutely rich in culture and in tastes, in their foods, in their knowledge about even us Americans. But prepare yourself. Don't just leave it out and say whatever comes,
Right.
it comes.
Yeah, I'll go there. And yeah,
Don't. It's not
definitely.
like a move from California to Florida, or
Oh,
like
it's
I
a
did.
big move.
It's a huge move. It's a huge
Yeah.
move because and of course, do legally everything. Do not overstay or stay over here. Americans and most of the and other nations can stay here up to 180 days, which is 6 months. If you overstay your visa, you'll be the same treated, as you overstay in the United States. You will be denied entry, and you will never come back here again. Or for not for a long time. Just plan everything legally. There's plenty of services over here in where lawyers are speaking English, where you can get immigration advice. Just see where you fall. If you're planning to be here all the time, you can be here up to 3 months, and then you have to apply for the visa. Once you apply for the visa, you can apply for cedula, and cedula is their own ID over here. And with that ID, you can start. You can go and get your health
Banking.
insurance, and you can be under their free healthcare system over here, and just pay a little bit, of the fee every month, and use all their services. So plan this correctly. I would say. Don't leave too many details outside because you're going to be surprised. You don't want to get yourself in trouble, and you're going to be absolutely and perfectly fine, and you're going to fall in love with this place, with this culture, with this food, with its people.
Do you know, does Colombia offer a retirement visa? Do
I
you know?
believe I believe yes. There are certain rules. I've read about it, and there are certain rules as far as the uh, amount of
Income.
money they require. I would have to research that a little bit more. I would advise definitely for everybody to go online. There's detailed information online about it, how much money you have to have, or how much of the retirement you have to get per month in order to move here on the retirement visa. There are people who are doing this, and there are also people who come here on investment visas, which also has its own financial limits. You need to invest a certain amount of money, I believe. I don't want to lie, so I don't want to say, but
Yep.
there is a certain amount of money you need to invest. You get an investor visa, or you can get it on an expat visa over here. If you have a business, online business, you come over here, you can live here, but you just have to, fix all those formalities before. And for someone who comes over here, please do not think that everything is fixable the same way with the same speed as in the US. Remember, it takes time. The bureaucratic system over here is built up. So it's not like that we make a
It's
phone
not
call and fix
instantaneous.
everything over the phone. No,
Right.
it doesn't work that way. It's much slower system. Be patient. It doesn't work like in United States. And in US, that's what we say, that you pay, you require, you request a good service. You pay over here, and then you have to wait. The service you're going to get perfectly, yes, very high quality service. People are extremely service oriented over here, but it will take some time. So just be patient. It's not a US. It doesn't function the
Yeah.
same.
Yeah. Got it. And finally, what do you personally love the most about living in Medellin?
If I was able to pick up that computer, walk outside of that balcony, and show you the view I have, I wouldn't have to say a word.
I know.
That's
I've
one
seen
of
your
the
pictures
things.
on your vacation.
That is correct. Yesterday, I went to Santa Elena. I came back from Santa Elena after 3 days of being there with my partner, and we were above the clouds, overlooking the whole entire valley where Medellin lies,
Literally.
and it was just breathtaking. But I think that the whole entire climate, the views, the culture, and the food. I don't think that there is any other place like this. And I've traveled all over the world for 31 years. So you know that, If you travel all over the world and you say this is probably the best place to live,
It
um,
must be a nice
or
place.
very unique place to be, if you're not planning to retire over here, just come here and experience Medellin,
Visit.
and you will see what I'm talking about. It's beautiful.
I'd love to. All
Always
right.
welcome.
Thank you. All right, Tomek. Thank you so much for being a part of the podcast. Thank you for your time. Definitely appreciate all of the wealth of knowledge that you brought. And personally, I feel like I made a new friend.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for inviting me for that postcard. It was an absolute pleasure to share all those details, which I know so far. We can repeat it again in about a year, and you'll
There you
see
go.
my perspective changed a little bit. But definitely,
I
from
would
all
love
those
that.
advices, it was a pleasure to share that with you. Thank you so much, Mark. And you're
I would
always
love that.
invited. I have a spare
Thank
bedroom.
you. Thank you, my friend. Thank you
Thank
so
you.
much. And for those out there, I just want to plug also myself. I just started a new website for LGBTQ seniors, and it's at www.lgbtqseniors.com. Feel free. It's to create an account. It's totally free, and it's for those people, for our community that are growing older, and we want to grow old together with some sort of community. So thank you for that. All right.
Thank you, Mark.
Well, again, thank you so much, and we'll talk soon.
Talk soon.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.